Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending NextRev's Power Hour session on PDM Essentials. This will be an overview where we discuss this new software coming from PTC in late January. My name is Jason Bland. I'm an applications engineer for NextRev. And this is my contact information in case you have any questions later. Okay, so here's the agenda for today. We'll talk a little bit about who NextRev is and some of our courses that we offer. We'll also discuss PDM Essentials in detail. We'll talk about the functionality that comes with PDM Essentials and when you might expect to see that. And then I'll go into and show some of the functionality that comes with PDM Essentials. And then I'll open it up for questions and answers. NextRev is a value-added reseller on the West Coast. We're the largest on the West Coast, based in Santa Clara, California. And we offer solutions around product development using the PTC suite of products. We have guys who can do consulting, training, and any sort of technical support in and around the PTC suite of products. Here's some of the courses we offer. Now, this is just kind of a nice cross-section of the training that we offer. If you're interested in any of the other certified instructor-led courses that we offer, you can go to this website you see at the bottom, nextrev.com, training, and you'll be able to view all of the upcoming training. We train on a weekly basis and stay pretty busy doing that. Also, we offer consulting services and any other technical support around that suite of products. Okay, so what is PDM Essentials? PDM Essentials is a new product by PTC that is essentially a much more simplified version of Windchill PDM Link. And so the idea is that we're able to do is offer that same type of functionality. Just the few of those critical pieces of functionality for CAD vaulting, releasing, and that sort of thing within the Windchill environment, but make it more affordable for smaller businesses, for example. So, the fact that it's affordable, easy to set up, it makes it more lucrative for smaller companies. Also, it's just much more simple interface for anyone to use. So what we'd like to do is help some of these small businesses you guys have take them to the next level. We're also able to, with this PDM Essentials, manage multiple CAD environments. So of course we can do all of the Creo applications that PTC offers: Creo Parametric, Direct, Simulate, Creo View. All of those different apps, as they refer to them, can be managed within the Windchill environment, even MathCAD. Also the Autodesk Products Inventor and AutoCAD, and then SolidWorks, which I'll actually be showing a little bit of in this demonstration. So this is really nice because now you can manage all of your full product definition in one place. If you have vendors that are off-site and they're supplying you files in SolidWorks and you have a seat of SolidWorks that you're working with, you can integrate that into your assembly very easily and manage that data exactly the same way you would manage your Pro-E data or your documentation, which is what I'm going to get to next. So this is another portion of the software where we can manage our engineering documentation. So you can see that what comes with this is an integration into Microsoft Office suite of products. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even Outlook. So you can see that what it's done here is it's added a Windchill tab, and I get all the different commands that I would need to work on that document from within the Windchill environment. And to me, that's important because it's not all about the CAD data. I mean, we do have the CAD data. We can control that CAD data with revisioning and releasing and those sorts of things. But we can also control our engineering documentation the same way and have it all co-located in the same area and manage that data the same way under tight control. And you can see that we also have the interface here through the Windows Explorer. So we technically don't even have to jump into the Windchill interface to work with documentation from within the Windchill environment. We can work just like we always have on Word documents. Go into Windows Explorer, access your files, open them, make a change, and put them back into the system. So it makes it easy to adopt to maybe your doc control personnel and that sort of thing. We also have a much more simplified change process that comes with PDM Essentials. So, what they've done is they've left out some of the more elaborate change structure. Now, you can do an ECR, but you can also just simply go in and do a promotion request where you can either have it as a review or approve workflow. Review would send your promotion request straight to, say, release, but it would notify people that you have released that file, the people that you specify. And then we also have an approval workflow. So this is really, really easy to take your CAD data and your documentation through the life cycle from concept to release and back. Also, we have a way of sharing our data outside of engineering. So we have the CAD systems, we have Word. Now, one of the things you might want to do is share, say a drawing or a CAD model with someone in purchasing and manufacturing. Well, without a system like this, you're having to create PDFs. You have PDFs that are loose and emails and folders. The way you're able to do it here is really it just gets automatically published to lightweight viewables, both 2D and 3D data, and anyone that has access to the system can view that data without having to jump through any other hoops, come to the engineer and ask for, say, a PDF. And they're ensured of getting the correct version that they want, so the released version. It's a real-time situation where you go in, you find the data you want, and then you know that it's the correct one. Okay. So let me go ahead and show some of the functionality that I just talked about here in the presentation. Now, what you'll see here is I have an Internet Explorer running. It is a web-based tool. For those of you who haven't seen Windchill before, this is Windchill architecture. But you'll probably notice some differences in the fact that it's not as, I would say, complicated. You see, this is a details page for this assembly. I have some information here. This is kind of a home page for this assembly in this particular case. I can see who modified it. That was me. The status of if it's checked out or not, when it was last modified. I can also see the version or revision on that. And I can see the release state. So right now this is sitting at released. Started off it didn't work and made a change to it to get it to release. And then of course I have this 3D viewable, which I'm going to get into detail on in a few minutes. So this gives you the visual sort of cue about what this assembly is. There's several other tabs, so this is really great for really anyone using the system. But if you're someone outside of engineering, this gives you the opportunity to kind of interface with the data. You can actually see the structure of the assembly even. So you don't even need to have the CAD software installed to be able to see the structure and the models. And again, these are lightweight viewables. I can just click through this, maybe add a column here for pricing if I'm someone in purchasing. So this gives me the ability to see the structure and the models themselves. And I can see if there's any PDFs or IDIS attached, I can see those. And then we can also get a where used report on our models. So if we want to know where the parts and assemblies are that are being used in whatever assemblies, I can come to this page and see, okay, well, it's being used in this higher level assembly here. It's important to see a history of your files. So I can see here who has changed the files. In this case, I don't have a whole lot of history. Again, this was created yesterday. But I would be able to see who changed it, when they changed it, and I can even add a column in here called comments that'll allow me to see why they changed it. So this is a really nice thing. It's tracking the full history of this file. You can go back to previous iterations of or releases of that file, and that's good for maybe data reuse or maybe a project down the line that uses an earlier revision. Okay. Okay, so now what I was saying before about being able to manage different types of data. Now we can manage a folder structure within PDM Essentials. You can see here I have just a basic folder structure. And really I wouldn't go too far with the folder structure just because, well, what I'll be showing you a little bit later is the ability to do very powerful searching. And so what I do is I keep this pretty basic and flat as far as the structure goes. I don't want to get too involved here, and then I just store those files within here. You can see within these view tables, I can resize the columns, rearrange the columns if I need to, if I find certain information important. And I have the release date, last modified. So this is just giving me a lot of good information up front within the tables about where these parts are and their description and part numbers, and then also I have the 3D thumbnail navigator, which will give me that visual feedback about what this part is. So maybe I know what the part looks like, but I don't know what the name of it is. So this will allow me to look at that. And what's really neat about this is I can also kind of work my way up and down the structure. So that part was being used in this steering wheel. And so I can see where those parts are being used and what parts are being used in, say, an assembly. You can just kind of bounce between those. So if maybe I know of a part, I'm trying to find an assembly, and I know a part that's in that assembly, I can go find that part, and then I can work my way up the structure and find the assembly that maybe I'm not aware of the part number on. And then also we can support other vendor data. So you'll see I've uploaded some SOLIDWORKS data here. I have some assemblies and parts, drawings, and we can all we can manage all of that data within one location, within one vault. So this is the same vault we're working within. We've got SOLIDWORKS data. We could have inventor data. And I'll be jumping into the SOLIDWORKS side of things in a few minutes. So why don't we do a search, and I'll show you how I might go about doing a change to, say, a part or an assembly or something like that within the assemblies, within the database. I'll be doing this change in Creo Parametric, formerly known as ProE. So I'll do a search, and it's just a keyword search, almost like Google or something like that. You can use wildcards if you want. And I'm just gonna kind of sticky that frame here that I have. So this is just the search window. This is how we navigate to find data. We can browse folder structures. We can get to different products. I have a product here with the folder structure and a team assigned to it. I have libraries. So I can keep my standard vendor part data in my libraries and maybe my project data in my products. And so right now I just have the one high-level product here. But searching for data is what we recommend. It's faster. It's a super fast way of finding those parts, and you can search on just about anything. Right now I just did a keyword search, and I have a results list with the different parts, their names, their part numbers, and when they were last modified, their revisions. I even get the thumbnail navigator here as well. So again, we get that visual feedback about what this part is and maybe I want to actually take some action on this. So first, let me just show. We can actually open these 3D thumbnails in a lightweight viewer referred to as a Creo View. And so this is the lightweight viewer that comes with Windchill. Anyone that has access to the system can use this software. It is a great way of collaborating with people outside of engineering. Someone in engineering could use it as well, maybe for a large assembly because it is a lightweight viewer. But generally speaking, it's used for someone like in manufacturing or on the shop floor, purchasing, whatever that might be. Maybe even a manager wants to come in here and make a markup. He can do that. So we have the tab ribbon UI, just like you're going to see in a lot of the other software that PTC is creating right now. This is just a Microsoft ribbon UI. And we can come in and we can turn off parts. It starts off something like this where we can turn off and on the parts. We can manipulate the model in some basic ways. So like if I want to kind of explode this assembly, maybe I'm trying to get an image, build an image out for my manuals or something like that. Well, I can just come in here and drag these parts around. I can even rotate these parts around if I need to. And then I can use, say, this image here. Maybe I want to do it in hidden line mode. I can use that image for a manual, whatever it might be, save a JPEG out for that. Okay. So, that said, as you're doing this, as someone, is kind of manipulating this data, what they're not doing is affecting the native CAD data. This is a visualization, a secondary content to that. So there's no worry there and maybe messing up the CAD data. Let's go in here and make a markup. Maybe I'm the manager and I want to say, okay, let's add some offset to the screen. Maybe we want to offset a little bit from there. You can also take measurements. So if I want to, measure, say, the size of one of these holes here, I can do that as well. Just adding a diameter there. I can measure the radius. I can measure the distance between holes or whatever that might be. So in this case, I'm going to just measure from the center of that hole to the center of that hole. Right. So this gives me the ability to do some really quick checks if I'm a manager, and maybe point out that something needs to be changed, communicating back with the design engineer. Also, we have the ability to do some sectioning within there. Speaking of the manipulation of the model, so let me just actually reverse this. I'm going to flip this direction here. And so this allows me to do some quick dynamic cross-sectioning, so I can drag through and maybe even see if there's interferences in there in this particular assembly, which I do see. There's an interference between that red and blue part. And again, I can come back, make a note of that, point that out. Save that. Essentially what I can do here is I can then save this back to the PDM Essentials database. So I'll just say manager's notes or something like that. Include that section. And if I work my way back to database itself on the browser side, go to my content, I'll see that that note's been added there. So we'll see that the manager has made a notation, and if I click on that, it's going to take me into that particular markup that he made. Okay. So this is really nice for someone outside of engineering to collaborate with the engineers. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make a change to this steering wheel. So we got the feedback from the manager. We want to come in here and make the changes. First thing I need to do is I need to add this to my workspace. So this is basically just going to download it to a local working directory for me. We'll just let it process. And if I come back over to Creo here and just kind of refresh my workspace, I'll be able to see the Creo data in there now. Okay, so I want to make the change to the assembly, so I'm going to go ahead and open that assembly up. You know, what you're seeing me do here is kind of work within an embedded browser within Creo, and we have, you know, the equivalent of that for SolidWorks and the other CAD systems as well. So, okay, so let me just take a closer look at this. And what I need to do is make an offset of this. Maybe I need to just change the way this this screen here has been assembled to the steering wheel. But the first thing I need to do, if you recall, is coming back to my workspace here. The first thing I need to do is basically take this to an in-work release level. I have an assembly that's released that I need to make changes to, but before I can do that, it's not going to allow me to make a change here. I need to first revise this assembly, and secondly, I need to check it out so that I can indicate to everyone within the organization that I'm going to make a change to this. It's kind of a way of locking anyone else out from making a change to this assembly before I can make my changes. So a couple of things. Now we have a command specifically for that. I could check this part out, but it's not going to work for me because I need to do the revision step first. So I'm going to come in here and just do a revise and check out. And you can see down here in the message area that it's updating me. It's letting me know that it's checked out. So come back to my workspace, do a refresh. Well, let's just take a look at what's happened here. So now we're at in-work state. Now I can actually work on this file, and I'm not, going to be modifying a released object, for instance, which you can't do because of the permissions on a released object. And we're version A for now. And then you can also see that I have it checked out. Now, if anyone else had any of these other guys checked out, then you would also see that as well within these status columns. Yeah, so let's make a change to the assembly. And I'm just going to change this coincident constraint to a distance, and we'll just make it offset by 0.2 or something. I don't know why that would happen, but it's a change that I wanted to make, and also that was instructed to me to make. So I'll go ahead and make that one, and I'll save it, and then I can also check it back in from here. And actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and show you that you can also access these commands from here, and you can also access them from the model tree. So these commands are built, within Creo, fully integrated. It makes it easy for you to be able to check in, check out, as frequently as we do to save our assemblies and models to the database and get them on the server and backed up. And this is where I can, make a comment. I can say, okay, per manager's comments. We'll just, keep it simple and check that in. So you'll probably notice that I've switched from being in a standalone browser, which is what you were seeing here, to working within the embedded browser. So if you're a Creo user, a SolidWorks user, or CAD user, you might access the system here, although you have that opportunity to also use a standalone browser. And that's how most other people are going to access the system, because they're not going to have the CAD tool itself. Okay, so now I'm at A.2. So now basically I've bumped the iteration up on this, and and it's in work. And the next thing I'll want to do here is then promote this assembly back to release. I've made my changes. Managers say it's okay. Let's go back into the details page, and we'll actually take this and promote it. So I'm just going to say new promotion request. Now what I'm presented with are a couple of options. One, where do I want to send this to? I want to send it to a release. And I have these other release levels. Depends on the company. We can use any of these different ones here. These are common, so this is what they put into the system. And then I need to just select the participants that I want to be involved with this promotion request. Now, I can go with an approval process, or I can go with a review process. Review is easier. It's going to, basically, it's just going to indicate to certain individuals that I have promoted this, and they can take a look at it and decide whether or not they like the change. But it doesn't require someone to click off on it. So I'm going to go with that one. Now, I can actually do a mixture of the two as well. I can say, okay, for me, I want to review it, or someone else, I want to review it, and for my manager, I want him to approve it. So you can actually have both if you need them. In this case, I'm just going to do a review process. I'm not going to leave everyone out of the loop. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to take this to release level. Okay, let me just do a refresh. And you'll see that it's back at release now. Okay. So we've gone from a dash revision to A, and we've gone from in work to release, and we have this this change that I made locked down for good in the system. So now the same process works for SolidWorks. You'll see I have a drawing here open, and just to show you kind of what it looks like within SolidWorks, if you are a SolidWorks user, you have the same commands here. You have check in, check out, revise, and check. It's all the same commands are built into the file menu. Then we also have this open from workspace, so we can see all of the table data within our file open dialog box. We can see the file name, its release date. You can even see the status column, so I can see if something's checked out by someone else. I know that I'm not going to be able to make a change to that. Or if it's released, I know I'll have to revise it before I check that out. So that's kind of what it would look like in SolidWorks. Now, the other thing I want to touch on is the ability to manage your engineering documentation as well. So what's really neat about this is I can work within this environment, this web-based environment, but I'm going to be showing you what's referred to as desktop integration. So this is the ability to work directly within Word and have your Word documents contained within the Windchill database, the PDM Essentials database. First, let me just show you can store all types of documentation. You can see some PDFs in here. You can see that I have one of these checked out, and then also my manager, Roberto, has one of those checked out. So I know I'm not going to be able to make a change here, and that another nice thing about this is that you can see, okay, well, if someone has it checked out, then I know a change is coming down the line. Maybe I should wait. If something is related to this manual, maybe I should wait for that change to come along. You can also see some PDFs, Word documents, and Excel documents. Okay, and this is nice, but maybe I want to. Maybe I'm a doc control person. Maybe I'm kind of loosely attached to engineering, and I'm putting documentation in the system, but I don't really want to get into and work with this particular interface. That's really part of what we can do here is we can actually have, so this is what we have here is the Windows Explorer. And of course, this is where you're going to find your C drive. I am maxed out on my space here. But you'll see another node down here for the Windchill documents, and that allows you to get to your products and libraries. Of course, you're not going to be able to see any CAD data this way, but you can get into the documentation folders. You can get into any of these folders, but the documentation folder is where that is located. And of course, you can see, okay, well, what's the release date, the revision, who is checked out by. All that same information that I was seeing in the Windchill web-based displays is also here. And what's more is I can go ahead and just open one of these files. So I already have this one checked out. I planned on working on it. Let's go ahead and open it. So I'm just going to use the open command. It notices that I have a version of this document already on my local hard drive. And it's letting me know that, hey, there's already one here. Do you want to overwrite it? Well, of course I do. I want to make sure that I'm using the latest and greatest of this document. Maybe this version of the document is an older one that I just forgot to get rid of. So I'm going to say yes, and it's going to overwrite that, and it's going to bring in the latest one. So now I see this the specification for computer, the CPU for engine management system. And I can just make some changes and then check those in. Now, what you'll see in Word, for instance, and this is the same for Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. You can go to this Windchill tab that's been added via the desktop integration, and you can do searches for the documents that exist in the database, create new documents. I'm going to be focused here where I want to now check in my changes. Let me save them first, and I'll go ahead and check those in. And again, I can make a comment why I made a change there. And then one of the things that maybe I forgot to do earlier was to send the local file to the recycle bin. So this ensures that I don't have any loose copies of the document out there for me to maybe pick up and use when it's not going to be the latest and greatest. So I can go ahead and actually trash that one that's local, check my changes in, and the operation is complete, so I have that change in there. Let's just go ahead and see. So you can see that it's been iterated. It went from 1 to 2. Now this one hasn't been released, so we're still at the dash. I can actually go in and release that document as well. Now one other last thing I wanted to touch on, so we're able to use the navigator to browse and find our, I didn't really touch much on the searching capabilities, and we can do some simple searches. We can use our search history. So this is a part I've searched for in the past. I don't need to continually enter the file that I want to search for. I can just come in here and click on a previous search if it's something that I search on a lot. And also, in addition to that, I can save this as a search. So maybe this is something that a group of parts that I search for a lot. Well, let's just go ahead and create a saved search for that. And so now you're going to see that I have my saved searches is populated with this guy here. That can create any kind of search here on any sort of criteria. So let's say I have a description or a manual of some kind that I want to search on a PDF. I can have a PDF search listed here, so you can store those. And that's where we get into more of the advanced searching. So the criteria we can search on, name and number, of course, when it was last modified, who it was modified by, and you can see there's quite a bit of parameters in here we can search on, including something like description, which is a really common one to search on. Okay, so searching is very powerful. So that's what we kind of push people to do. And also, so the last thing is the home page. This is just kind of a little thing where anyone that has access to the system has this home page they can come to and see kind of a brief overview of the kind of where they are with some of their work. So for instance, right now I don't have any checked out work. I made the one change and it would have showed if I had it checked out. But I also see that there's an approval promotion request here that I need to approve. So this is going back to where I set up the promotion request for that one part. Now, if I had chosen the approval process, then whoever was placed on that list would get this task here that they need to take action on. They would also get an email notification that this has been sent to them, and they can click on a link. It'll take them to this promotion request, and they can review the drawing, this model, whatever it might be, and decide if they want to go ahead and approve that And of course, this can be modified. We can move around the the different tabs and add new ones if we need, or we can just take them all out. Maybe I'm only concerned with tasks. Okay. So one of the things you'll discover about the software is that it's highly customizable. I can customize the interface. I added this maturity history, so that one's the one that I was showing you before. And it's kind of a timeline history, which is okay, but it doesn't actually show me who made the modification. So this one here is one that I added earlier. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with PDM Essentials today. And for those of you who have used Windchill in the past or have seen it in the past, you'll probably noticed that as far as the interface goes, what's really been done here is simplified. We've boiled it down to the essentials to basically be able to do some CAD vaulting, some workflows, some visualization, and be able to share that stuff throughout the organization. Hope you have a great weekend, and join us for next week's Power Hour. Thank you. Goodbye.